Welcome to the Career Change Podcast, where you'll discover the frank and practical advice and resources that are already proven to work in the real world when it comes to changing careers or figuring out what business is right for you when you are a smart but likely also stuck, overwhelmed, or overthinking person in your mid-30s, your 40s, your mid-50s. I'm your host, Rikke, Hansen, a career change advisor, entrepreneur, and former corporate HR professional with over 15 years experience of helping thousands of people just like you identify or create careers or businesses that are both meaningful and future-proof. Welcome home. Welcome to episode 32 of the Career Change Podcast. This episode is all about confidence first aid for career changers. And what I want to do today is I want to share two really powerful first aid tools or remedies for you to help with two specific but incredibly common and painful scenarios that can really make or break your career confidence, okay? So the first remedy, and I'll just briefly talk about them, they'll go into more details later, but just sort of upfront, I want to let you know that the first remedy is for you if you haven't yet changed careers and you're still in that job that you so badly want to leave behind. And what I'm going to teach you is very much a situational reframe of how to think about yourself and your career confidence, full stop. So if you're right now in a job that you so badly want to leave behind, but you're also feeling low in confidence, then keep listening to discover a big reason why it could be that your confidence is so low. And the second remedy, the second or first aid tool that I'll speak to you about is one that's going to help you combat the toxic and confidence-sucking compare and despair tendency that I see a lot of new entrepreneurs and new business owners doing, people who've recently branched out on their own, okay? And that's whether you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or you already made the jump, wherever you're at right now, this episode will save you a ton of time and worry and energy. I'll also throw in there a key reason why starting your own business is such a great option for career change. And I might even convince some of you who are on the fence about that. But no matter whether you just want to change careers or you want to start your own business, whether you've made the jump already or you haven't, there's something in here for all of you. Because here's the thing, so many of the emails that I get from my wonderful listeners, they mention issues around confidence. And issues around confidence, both in your current career, the one you want to leave behind, as well as worries about doing your own thing, confidence issues when you're starting your own company or doing your own thing. Now, what I just will say right up front, I've already done a very foundational episode on my take on confidence. And it's episode 21. It's called the Career Change Confidence Myth. So if you haven't listened to that episode, make sure you also listen to that episode 21. It really is a must listen because in there, I very much go in on my unique take on what confidence actually is and how it can be created. Okay, but like I briefly mentioned already, in this particular episode, we're going to have a slightly different take on confidence. So I want to give you two first aid tools and when I say two, first aid tools, what I mean is this was what I often administrate these are the remedies I often administrate with my own clients for two very painful scenarios, or what I call two very painful self-sabotage scenarios. Because here's the thing, have you noticed self-sabotage, it often goes together with low confidence levels. So the first tool is very much a reframe, like I mentioned, of how you think about yourself and your confidence levels. And it's really important to understand that confidence levels, they aren't fixed. They're actually more situational. And there's a very good reason why you likely have a very low level of confidence right now if you are in a career or job that you don't enjoy. But the tool is, the first aid tool, the remedy is, don't let your current career confidence levels dictate or limit your future career confidence levels. Because here's the thing, right now, if you are not happy in your career, that means that probably for quite a while, you've not been motivated. You pretty much checked out already. You're letting projects and promotions sliding you by. You're probably also in a toxic work culture with a bullying boss. which all leads to massive confidence issues. It's that mixture of you can't really get bothered because you kind of checked out, but you're also in a lot of pain because of what's not happening, what you're not getting. But what's really important, and don't worry, we'll go into details with this later, but it's really important that you do not confuse your current, very likely low levels of career confidence that are literally created by the scenario you've been in for the last number of years. It's very important you don't confuse that with what is possible for you confidence-wise if you actually were to instead create a much more engaging and meaningful career or to do your own things. Your current confidence level, all they are just a snapshot in time, a result of where you are right now, what you build up to over the last number of months or years. But it does not dictate and should not dictate or limit what's possible for you going forward. When you actually start leaving that scenario you're in, or you start creating something that's much more suited to you, okay? So we'll go into detail in a minute with all of this. But let me also just briefly tell you about the second tool, the second first aid tool I want to introduce you to. And this is really for those of you future pacing you here who want to start your own business or who already made the jump and done it. Because if you've been used to hiding behind a fancy or well-known company name or profession, or you had a long history within a particular company where everybody already knows you and your good reputation, then it might feel quite intimidating to leave that bubble behind, and you can feel pretty naked and on your own and almost like the new kid on the block when you branch out on your own, when you start your own company. And that, my friend, in case you haven't already noticed, can open the door to a whole number of confidence-sucking self-sabotage tendencies. Hence why the second first aid tool is to focus on helping your clients, not on comparing yourself to your peers or your competitors. When you are a new business owner, it is absolutely key that you don't do this kind of compare and despair self-sabotage. Because there will likely already be people in the field you're moving into or branching further into who already have way more experience than you, who have a bigger platform and more expertise than you. But it's so important that is not what you focus on. What you want to focus on instead are those who can actually pay you and who actually want what you uniquely have. And those are your clients or your potential clients. Okay? So both of these tools have had really great results on my clients inside of your career change map. They've applied this, it saved their sanity again and again. So these two first aid tools are really for you if you are a mid-career professional with a tendency to get in your own way. Okay, so just keep listening to this episode. We'll go much deeper with both of those tools. And really, I also really want to give you a hypochondriac warning on this particular episode. You will likely feel very seen and very heard. But most importantly, you'll get some really solid advice you can apply. And here's the thing, some of this might be future pacing for you, depending on where you're at in the career transition process. And for some of you, it might be what you can apply straight away, but keep listening. But let's go into depth with first aid tool number 1. Don't let your current career confidence levels dictate or limit your future career confidence levels. Now, I want you to listen really carefully now, especially if you haven't yet made the jump, because you're likely falling into this trap right now. So let's drag you out or ensure you don't allow you to get to the stage or fall further into it. Because here's the deal, let's be really frank. If right now you are not happy in your current profession, in your current job, and you haven't been for a while, then what's happening, what's likely happening, or what you're letting happen, or what you're tolerating, is that you're not feeling terribly motivating. You're not feeling terribly excited about your current career or about, whether it's now or what it's going to be like in the future. And what that means, like I mentioned briefly before, you've likely already kind of checked out mentally, or at least you got into autopilot mode professionally. Here's what that looks like. It means that you're likely not putting yourself forward for new or challenging additional projects. You're not really doing things to actively up your achievement game. And you're likely also really fed up with the company politics. So you don't really feel like doing the promotional pony parade or the management suck up. And nor at the same time you're not playing full out. You're not exploring. You're not using your brain or using your strengths fully, right? Let's not even talk about wasted potential. But as a result, you're likely also being passed over for promotions, or you're not being given exciting stuff or assignments to work on because you checked out. You might also have a bullying boss who's frustrated with the fact that you kind of checked out, whilst also seeing this as just another chance to bully you. And you know what, my friend? The result of all of this is that your career confidence has been dropping for months, or maybe even for years, if that's how long you've been in a job that you don't enjoy. And now, when you're really fed up, your career confidence levels, they're literally dropping lower and lower on an almost daily basis, right? On top of that, you're likely also beating yourself up for not having much to show for the last few years, career achievement-wise. And maybe you're feeling resentful about the promotion you didn't get, or you're feeling resentful about the promotion you did get that's just leading to more of the work that you don't enjoy. So here you are, draining your confidence and de-skilling yourself in the process of having already checked out and being on autopilot. And on top of that, maybe you're also in a scenario where all you might have been doing is just some sporadic thinking or overthinking about your career change, rather than actually having taken any action or having a plan. And you know what? That is a really dangerous and confidence-sucking place to be. So of course, you might not feel terribly confident right now, because this is a result of months and years of having stayed in a scenario like this. Of course, my friend, of course you feel low in confidence, having allowed yourself to stay in that scenario for so long. But I also want to know I've got you. And my dear listener, listen up. If that's you, if you can relate to everything I just spoke about, then I want you to know there is a way out. I've seen this with a lot of my clients, wonderful, smart, stock professional who just end up in that exhausting spot. Here's what's absolutely vital for you to know and to take on board. Don't let your current career confidence levels dictate or limit your future career confidence levels. Like I said, of course, you might not feel terribly confident right now. For whatever reason, and no judgment here, we all get our own way. You spent the last 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, whatever, autopiloting, checked out, not engaged. That means, of course, you feel like you got little to show for it. You might be totally bullied, totally burned out. So there are likely many, many very good reasons why your confidence is low, but they are situational. You see what I mean? Right? But that low level of confidence that you have right now, because you've allowed yourself to stay in that scenario for so long, it does not have to mean that you cannot create much more confidence and much higher levels of confidence when you actually start creating and moving into a career or business you actually want to get out of bed for in the morning, that you care about, that you're engaged about when work matters to you, and you're keen to get up to help your clients to do the actual work. Doing work you love, work that feels like you, is one of the most confidence-building things that you can do. That's the antidote, okay? So don't let your current career confidence levels dictate or limit your future career confidence levels. Because of course, you might have low confidence levels right now because that's been built up. It's literally been sucked out of you moment by moment. But let's get you out of there. Here's how I want you to think about it. In 1 year's time, if you don't get serious about your career change, about taking action, all you'll have is 1 more year of confidence sucking in your current career and nothing to show for it, and an even lower level of career confidence. But if you start taking action now, In 1 year's time, you will have 1 year of creating confidence because you're creating a new career, you're building a new business, and you're helping clients, you're doing what you want to do. You're getting excited about your subject, your product, your line of work. And remember, like I keep saying in this podcast, you can absolutely start doing this on the side. You don't need to jump away from that job yet. You can absolutely start building that career change, that business on the side. But what you absolutely need to start doing right away, you need to start plugging and counteracting that confidence leak that is currently happening. And you need to start creating more confidence right now. And getting serious about your career change and taking career change steps is the way, right? So let me future pace you. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in 1 year's time? And can you actually afford to keep leaking this amount of confidence? You have this double whammy of confidence leaking, right? Choose wisely and start creating confidence. Your current level of career confidence is just a reflection of what you've sunk down to over the last few years. My friends, promise me this. Don't allow yourself to go any lower. Instead, shift the focus towards that career change. Get cracking. Get over yourself. See the bigger picture. There's so much more, my friend, that's possible for you. What you see as current low levels of career confidence, they are not a sign to stay. They are not who you are. It is a sign to create something else. To get out of that situation, those situational factors, they are such a big part of creating and contributing to the low levels of confidence you're feeling right now, okay? So start creating that career change, that work you really want, or figure out what it is that in itself will up your confidence levels massively because you care. Right? So the first aid tool number 1 is really a reframe of how to view your current confidence levels. Don't let your current career confidence levels dictate or limit your future career confidence levels. Remember, all your confidence, level right now is a result and a reflection of what you allowed to happen over the last couple of years, right? So get cracking with that career transition and realize that low level can absolutely be changed to a much higher level. And in the process, you can change careers and you will change careers. All right? So let's go into first aid tool number 2. Focus on helping your clients, not on comparing yourself to your peers or competitors. So this is for those of you who want to make the jump, start a young company, or who want to do it. And the main confidence-sucking mistake I see most career changers and new entrepreneurs, business owners make is that they beat themselves up and drain themselves of confidence by spending way too much time and energy comparing themselves to their peers or competitors who have way more experience or well-established business. And they beat themselves up for not being like that yet, right? The classic compare and despair tendency. I cannot tell you how often I see this happening. And if you're doing it or you've done it, you also know how toxic, but also how strangely addictive this compare and despair tendency can be. You're vading through Instagram profiles of experts and influencers, people who are top of their field, competitors of yours who have way more experience than you and a way bigger business, and they really look like they had their shit all together. Or even worse, you go onto their website, you notice how many different programs or products or fancy options they offer and how professional everything looks and sounds. And then you wonder, why even bother with my new little business? I still got so far to go. I'm a newbie to this field, etc., etc. Insert your own compare and despair tendency here. It is not helpful, right? And just like the other scenario I mentioned, it literally sucks confidence and motivation out of you. So if you want to feel more confident as a new entrepreneur, as a new business owner, as a career changer, it's vital that you also plug this confidence leak. And guess what? Since it is totally and 100% self-inflicted, it's actually also totally doable to do so. Now, I want you to take a minute here and just be really honest. How are you doing this to yourself? And how does it make you feel? Can you really afford to continue this behavior if you want to build your business? What is it actually costing you? Right? Imagine if you saw a brand new writer comparing herself to J.K. Rowling or Stephen King or Brené Brown. You'd be like, that's crazy. Why are they doing that? That's really not helpful. But I bet you're likely doing something to yourself very similar in your field. So stop it. And the remedy, the first aid tool number 2, is to focus on helping your clients, not on comparing yourself to your peers or competitor. To stop obsessing so much about yourself in relation to your peers or your competitors, that is such a key part of creating confidence as a career changer, as a new business owner. So get over yourself, okay? That's actually the key to so many things when it comes to a successful career change. Get over yourself. And you do that by stopping the comparing and despairing and instead focus on helping others, which was probably a main reason why you're doing your own thing, right? So shift your focus away from comparing and despairing, from beating yourself up and making completely unfair and toxic comparisons, and instead focus on those people you actually want to help. Stop getting so obsessed about me, and my problems and my gaps, and instead focus on your clients. Because guess what? They're the ones who will actually pay you and make you feel good. Not your peers, not your competitors. Your clients are the ones who will contribute joy and meaning in your work life. Not your competitors. Focus accordingly, right? Here's what's so beautiful. Connection and meaningful, connection and meaning and joyful work. It really comes as you focus on those people you want to help, you want to serve. Whether you advise them, make products for them, create experiences for them, whatever the interaction is. Remember, your clients or your purchaser will come to you because of what you uniquely offer and what they don't have and what they need help with, because you are already way further ahead compared to them. They are not experts. They don't have the experience of the gift that you have. That's why they come to you, even in the early days. Whereas what you do when you choose to instead compare and despair is that you skew the pictures. New business owners, new entrepreneurs, they often feel lacking because they spend way too much time comparing themselves to peers and competitors who are way, way further ahead. What you should focus on instead are those that you already have more knowledge, more experience, more passion than. That's your clients, right? They come to you because you have what they don't have. So focus on helping them instead. That shift of focus will already make you feel way better about yourself. And here's something that I just find mind-blowing and that I love about having my own company. One of the greatest advantages and benefits of starting your own company is also that in most cases, you get to decide who you want to work with, who your ideal clients are, and who you most want to help or best able to help. Isn't that epic? Right? That sure beats having stupid clients or colleagues you don't like. And here, my friend, if this is a new thought for you, here's my permission slip from me to you. It's okay for you to decide who you most want to work with. It's okay for you to decide who you most want to work with, right? Here's what I mean by that, because I often see that with clients of mine who want to start their own business. This is like, oh, wow, really? You don't just have to work with whoever has a pulse and wants to give you money. This is such a leftover from always having been an employee, having an employee mindset. You're just kind of used to inherit often very horrible clients, and that it's kind of just a factor you cannot change when you go in and work a job. You just sort of take over clients and have to kind of put up with them, right? When you decide to start your own company, you have a lot more freedom if you allow yourself to use it. So just ask yourself, who do I most want as my clients? Who do I most want to help? Who would you most like to help? Who needs your service or your product the most? Are there also any client groups where you already have an unfair advantage or relatability? When I first started out, I just knew, working with corporate clients is going to be easier because I know what it feels like to be stuck in a corporate job. And they know that I used to be one of them. So I can actually really relate to them. Maybe you got something similar. Maybe you come from a certain cultural background. You have a certain take on things or whatever it might be that's really unique to you. That could be a great way to start a niche, right? Also, if confidence or rather lack of it is a really massive issue for you, maybe you're more on the shy, easily intimidated side, which, quite a few of my clients are. Then feel free to even go further and to really define what would a non-intimidating kind of client look like, whether it's psychographics, demographics. Think about your dream client, right? That's so important. Who would you feel more confident and comfortable working with rather than intimidated, right? Spend some time thinking about that. If it's really an issue for you, that might be what's holding you back. And also remember, if you have an online component to your business, you don't necessarily need a massive amount of clients. You just need to price things right. People are always so worried about niching, about getting clear on their clients. They're worried they won't have enough. But you actually make everything easier when you get clear with yourself who you most want to work with. It's going to make it easier for you to do marketing, for people to talk about you. That's so, so important. So get excited about who you want to work with. Choose a client group you actually want to work with. Like I said, it makes it easier to market. People will feel at home with you. They'll feel understood. It'll make it easier for you to establish yourself much faster, okay? Trying to appeal to everyone means you appeal to no one. And that can make it a lot harder for you to sell. So much rather be clear about who you work with, okay? I love that. I love my client group. Smart people like you who have a tendency to overthink and make things harder for yourself, right? I hope that when you listen to the Career Change podcast, you feel really understood. That's because if you do and you really feel like you're inside of your head, that's because I know who you are. I've worked with people like you for many years. I can help you. Imagine you doing that yourself for your ideal client group. Right? Having an ideal, and here's why this is so important in this context, having an ideal client group to work with that you can fall in love with also means, and that you can really help, also means that you'll be a lot less likely to compare and despair because you're so much more focused on helping those amazing people who've chosen to work with you. You're so much more focused on helping them than you are comparing and despairing when it comes to your competitors and peers, okay? You might also want to check out the Career Change podcast episode number 15 about the compare and despair tendency. But let's do a recap here. So you've now got 2 tools depending on where you are at in the career change process that you can use right away. So remember, the first aid tool number 1 is to don't let your current confidence levels dictate or limit your future confidence levels. Okay. And then first aid tool number 2 was to focus on helping your clients, not on comparing yourself to your peers or competitors. All right. You also definitely want to check out episode number 21, the Career Change Confidence Myth, if you haven't already done so. But most importantly, remember, your career confidence levels are not fixed and they are often very situational, right? They can be dramatically improved. They're often just an accumulation of everything you've been going through, for better or for worse, over the last couple of years. So here's the thing, my friend. If you're feeling low, then what you need to do is take charge and take your career transition process really seriously. Get cracking. You will create much more confidence in the process of knowing that you are in charge of your career. You are in charge of your career transition, but you got to start taking the action that a career changer takes. And in the process, you will create so much more confidence and you will change careers. You will start that business. And that surely beats giving your confidence away to a job, a boss, a company that doesn't care about you and that doesn't give you anything back. And also remember, if you already started that company, remember to focus on those clients who love you, who wants to buy from you. I got much more for you. Come over to thecareerchangepodcast.com and I'll see you there. Now get cracking, create confidence.